Edo's bustling street stalls were, in fact, entirely controlled by a specific organization. Much of the revenue flowed into their pockets, and stall owners had no choice but to comply. But why did they wield such power? The truth behind their influence is astonishing. This video explores three key aspects: why the Yakuza dominated street stalls, their ingenious management techniques, and their lasting impact on modern Japan. Join us as we delve into Edo's unknown dark economy. In the main segment, we'll also detail the surprising origins of the Tekiya trade. During the Edo period, street stalls, much like modern festivals and events, were central to public entertainment. However, there were those who saw an opportunity. These were the people known as Tekiya. The origins of Tekiya trace back to the Muromachi period, rooted in itinerant merchants and peddlers known as yasi. By the Edo period, they became an indispensable presence for markets and festivals. The shogunate not only tacitly approved of their existence, but, at times, even exploited them. Tekiya were not mere merchants. They controlled turf and managed the setup of street stalls. To operate a stall within their territory, one had to pay a greeting fee to the Tekiya's Kashimoto, or boss. The Kashimoto also handled security and resolved disputes within their territory, functioning as a kind of self-governing body. For instance, setting up a stall at a festival required tribute to the Kashimoto and coordination with competitors. This system can be seen as the precursor to the Maikijimryo, or protection money, extorted by modern Yakuza. The Tekiya gradually evolved into one of the two major Yakuza organizations, alongside the Bakudo, who possessed military and organizational might. While the Bakudo focused on gambling, the Tekiya's illicit earnings came from managing markets and street stalls. Tekiya organizations were bound by extremely strict hierarchies and the Oyabun Kobun boss-subordinate code. They used their own unique jargon and codes, making their true activities difficult for outsiders to grasp. At times, the Tekiya of that era even played a role in infrastructure, such as supplying goods during disasters. Territory and vested interests were matters of life and death for Tekiya organizations, leading to constant conflicts. One famous conflict involved a bloody struggle over the rights to host a particular market. During these conflicts, knives and clubs were common weapons, and numerous casualties were not unusual. The shogunate could not fully suppress these conflicts and, in some cases, even leverage them to their advantage. Records even exist of shogunate officials being secretly connected with Tekiya bosses. Tekiya were not merely violent organizations. They possessed a unique management strategy. They meticulously planned by understanding market demand, deciding which products to sell in which areas. For instance, they dictated seasonal offerings, such as chilled sweets for summer festivals and warm amazake for winter ones. They also handled dispute resolution and quality control, striving to maintain customer trust. Tekiya bosses often demonstrated business acumen that surpassed even samurai or legitimate merchants. The presence of Tekiya was deeply ingrained in Edo's economic activities. Festivals and markets could only proceed smoothly due to their organizational power. However, behind this facade, stall owners faced the harsh reality of being forced to pay hefty tributes. Tekiya parasitized society by filling the gaps where the shogunate's governance couldn't reach. After the Meiji Restoration, the Tekiya became further organized, forming one of the prototypes for modern Yakuza gangs. Even in contemporary festivals and events, traces of the Tekiya can still be found. There are cases where specific Tekiya-affiliated gangs still control stall operating rights at large-scale events. These are proof that the territorial and vested interest structures, continuing from the Edo period, remain today in altered forms. Behind the festivals that the general public knew, such dark forces always existed. Even in National Police Agency documents, stall operating rights are listed as one of the Yakuza's main sources of funding. Edo's street stall culture certainly entertained people and supported their diet. However, in its shadow lay harsh extortion and bloody conflicts between organizations. Operating between order and disorder, the Tekiya moved society with their own unique logic. It can even be argued that the prosperity of Edo's street stall culture was thanks to their presence. Behind the vibrancy that adorned the streets of Edo, there was indeed a dark dominion. The reason Yakuza dominated street stalls was that they established infrastructure and monopolized vested interests in areas where the shogunate's governance was incomplete. Their ingenious management strategy involved creating a system of territorial control, tribute collection, and dispute resolution to establish order in business. And this influence persists in modern festivals, extending invisibly into our daily lives. Edo's vibrant street stall culture may have, in fact, been supported by the power of this underworld. Behind the history we know, stories of light and shadow always exist.